I want to show you a story that seems simple. But if you look deeper, it's a warning for each of us. President Donald Trump announced on Friday that he is officially withdrawing his support for Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and personally attacked her, while Greene fired back, claiming that Trump is trying to make an example out of her to prevent the release of files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Comment below, have you noticed similar clashes between political allies? We want to hear your thoughts. The president's post marked a major political split that had been brewing for weeks, a dramatic escalation in the tense relationship between the two former allies, who grew apart after Greene publicly criticized Trump on multiple issues. The situation quickly turned into a messy public showdown as the Epstein controversy once again grabbed the spotlight in Washington. I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trump wrote online, adding that Greene, who is running for re-election in 2026, has gone far left. He added, "She has told many people that she's upset that I no longer return her calls, but with 219 congressmen and congresswomen, 53 senators, 24 cabinet members, nearly 200 countries, and trying to lead a relatively normal life, I cannot take the calls of a ranting lunatic every day." In recent weeks, Greene had publicly warned that Trump was too focused on foreign policy and not doing enough to push his domestic agenda. Greene, who joined Congress in 2021, had been an outspoken supporter of Trump until recently. The Georgia Republican hit back on social media Friday, writing, "Of course he's coming after me hard to make an example and scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files." On Saturday, she added that she has been receiving threats and claimed that Trump fueled and egged on these threats. "I am now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety, as a hotbed of threats against me are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world. The man I supported and helped get elected," Greene wrote on X. Earlier on Friday, Trump defended his foreign travel and meetings with world leaders, claiming his international relationships had benefited her district, and expressed openness to endorsing a potential primary challenger. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "Oh gee, I'm spending too much time overseas. So let's say I don't meet with China. Do you know what would happen to Georgia, to every other state?" Trump said aboard Air Force One. He continued, "They wouldn't be working because your magnets and rare earths would have stopped flowing, and there wouldn't be a single factory in the world operating if I didn't have these international relationships." Trump said he is in the United States 98% of the time. "The last thing I want to do is fly 22 hours on a plane, as nice as it is," he added. Trump also warned that Greene has changed politically in recent weeks, criticizing the White House's position on a potential government shutdown and the Epstein files. "I think her constituents are going to be unhappy. People are already calling me. They want to challenge her in her district in Georgia," Trump said. He added that he is open to endorsing a Republican rival in a primary race. Greene is one of 4 House Republicans who signed a petition forcing a vote to release Justice Department documents related to the Epstein case, but more Republicans may break from Trump and vote for transparency. Trump has repeatedly called calls for openness around his Epstein ties a hoax. Greene's criticism also extends beyond Epstein, targeting Trump's economic policies and calling for better messaging on affordability and cost of living issues. On Friday, Greene shared screenshots of messages she allegedly sent to Trump and his aide Natalie Harp. "Most Americans," she wrote, "wish he would fight as hard for the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream." In a message to a contact labeled DJT, Greene urged Trump to lean into Epstein's ties to other high-profile figures and what she called the deep state. In another message to Harp, she confirmed her support for Trump, but said the White House must stop ignoring women. Them being raped as teenagers is not a hoax. This political confrontation is just the latest in a series of high-profile clashes between Trump and his former allies, demonstrating how relationships within the Republican Party can rapidly deteriorate under the pressure of public scrutiny and competing agendas. Observers note that the dynamics here reflect a broader tension in modern politics, where loyalty, media presence, and control over public narratives are constantly tested. Experts say that this conflict is emblematic of how political figures navigate power, public perception, and internal party politics. Trump's aggressive posture and Greene's defiance show that even close allies can quickly become rivals when core interests, image management, or ideological positions clash. Social media reactions to the feud have been swift and polarized. Many Trump supporters expressed shock and disappointment at Greene's criticisms, while others saw her pushback as a necessary challenge to Trump's focus and priorities. Political analysts point out that this type of public confrontation can influence voter sentiment, especially as it plays out in real time across platforms like X, Twitter, and other social channels. For Greene, the stakes are high. Her public confrontation with Trump could either bolster her image as a fearless lawmaker willing to stand up to a former president, or it could alienate a significant portion of her base who remain loyal to Trump. Likewise, for Trump, making a public withdrawal of support is both a signal to other potential critics and a strategic move to maintain control over his influence within the party. The Epstein files continue to cast a long shadow over U.S. politics, with Greene positioning herself as a voice demanding transparency and accountability. By linking Trump's attempts to suppress these discussions with personal attacks, Greene highlights a growing rift in the Republican ranks that could have long-term implications for the party's cohesion and public image. Observers also emphasize the performative aspect of this feud, how both Trump and Greene manage their messaging and media appearances to assert dominance, convey legitimacy, and mobilize supporters. Every social media post, statement, and public comment is meticulously calculated to send signals to both allies and opponents. This standoff raises questions about the limits of loyalty, the role of personal grievances in politics, and how media amplification can escalate conflicts that might otherwise remain private. The broader narrative is about control over information, over allies, and over the narrative presented to the public, and both figures are clearly aware of the high stakes. Even within her own district, Greene's defiance resonates differently with voters. Some see her actions as courageous, standing up to one of the most powerful figures in politics, while others worry about the political fallout and potential vulnerability to primary challengers. Trump's decisions and statements, similarly, are analyzed for what they reveal about his priorities, willingness to confront dissent, and strategies for maintaining influence. The unfolding saga also highlights how modern politics is inseparable from social media dynamics, where statements and responses are amplified instantly, shaping perceptions and reactions across the country. Both Trump and Greene leverage these platforms to communicate directly with supporters and critics alike, ensuring that every post carries maximum impact and scrutiny. In the coming weeks, this feud is likely to evolve further, with additional statements, endorsements, or challenges emerging as each side attempts to consolidate influence and sway public opinion. Analysts predict that the dispute could influence upcoming elections, party dynamics, and the ongoing debate about transparency, accountability, and leadership within the Republican Party. At its core, the Trump-Greene conflict is a dramatic example of modern political theater where personal, ideological, and strategic considerations intersect to produce highly visible confrontations that captivate public attention. The consequences of this feud will likely reverberate well beyond their immediate actions, shaping perceptions of leadership, loyalty, and the politics of accountability for months to come.